What really happens to be the joy? Light my fire may not be the thing that you desire, but with time we can find common ground. Get up off your ass, turn your life around, so feed your faith, so your doubts will start, and free your mind. It's really not that hard. So feed your faith, so your doubts will starve, and free your mind. It's really not that hard. Black people, get up. Your harvest is past due. Regain the glory that eludes you. Brothers, grab hold and see what I see. Sisters, manifest what's been given through prophecy. Get up, get up, get up, get up. So your doubts will start, and free your mind. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. So feed your faith. Oh no. Your doubts will start, and free your mind. Free your mind. It's really not that hard. Stand tall, yeah, and be strong. Oh, it's gonna be alright if you believe. Rise from the ashes of my burnt out mind.
All right. Peace and good dawning. Welcome to all of you who are tuning in to Enlightenment and Transformation. This is Chief Yuya, and I will that all of you have been enjoying your dawning rituals thus far, and well, I guess perhaps maybe this is a part of your dawning ritual. Experiencing or sharing this time with us on Enlightenment and Transformation. But either way, I just want to welcome you all. Those of you in the chat, I see that people have already started. Like I've said, without the blog talk counting, I need some type of counting. So I'm using music now to kind of, get us into the space. And then usually I look to the chat room. If I see somebody in the chat room, I say, okay, now we're live. I guess on some levels I'm traumatized by so many technical issues that I'm doing all these checks in and out to make sure that we're actually broadcasting. when we think we're broadcasting. But either way, welcome, especially for you archive listeners who will tune into this days, months, years from now. You're just as welcomed as everyone else who's here live and direct this dawning. Okay. But so I'll say this to you all, Bi Obama aya beri lo owo orire. Bi Obama kole beri lo owo oriye. So if I want a consort, I have to ask my Ori. If I want a home, I have to ask my Ori. So we understand that, Ori, or our head, is where things begin. So it's important as we wake up this dawning that, sometimes just hold your head, and say thank you. As you're showering or you're washing your hair or whatever your ritual is, just sometimes it's good to pay attention to the amount of pressure or the amount of work or, the amount of things that we ask for, we ask of our heads, in that sense. And, it's critical sometimes because we forget a lot of times it's just like your computer or your phone. You ever feel the heat coming off your phone's battery sometimes because of the amount of calculations that it's doing, which is nothing compared to the human mind. Nothing. They don't have a computer powerful enough yet to match the computations of the human mind. And that's just your brain, your day. There's the brain and there's the mind, there's the consciousness. There's so many things going on at once. So, it's good to be kind sometimes to those constituents of your body and of your form that are doing so much for you, that are doing so much work for you. It's important, and I want to give some love too, because sometimes I get them, they drop in and out from people who I've done music work in the past. Obviously that was one of my old songs, you could tell. Like I said, I'm using my old songs as my counting. I don't have my blog talk counting anymore. So I'm using that. But I want to give a shout out to some of those people I've worked with in the past, because over the past maybe 6 or 7 months, I've been getting these really interesting reports from individuals who I have done music with and just shared art with over the years, from strokes to heart attacks to, matter of fact, one of the sisters, there's a song that I played on here before. Maybe I'll find it, that people enjoyed. By the name of Karma. It was when I did the segment on Karma recently. Well, the sister singing on that song, her name is Prakita Burgess. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with the whole Bill O'Reilly situation, the sexual harassment charges and him getting fired from Fox News. Well, she was the one, the main one who kind of put the nail in the coffin. I had no idea. I've known this woman for years, done music with her and things like that, and I just knew her as, She'd always call me up. You got any tracks for me? I feel like singing. You got any tracks for me? I want to do some singing. And I'd bring her by the studio, let her get on something real quick, and and she'd bring people by, just regular studio music stuff. And recently I was on, I think, Twitter, and I saw her name, and it said, this is the woman who put the nail in the coffin and got Bill O'Reilly fired. So I clicked on it and then looked at a video clip of her on The View, and sure enough, it was her. So yeah, like I said, man, I'm just gonna give some love for those. Sometimes they swing in and out, people from, I guess I could say that life. Sometimes they swing in and out and say, "Oh, I checked out your show. I listened to this and that." So yeah, man. I had no idea that sister had been a part of that whole O'Reilly fiasco, or had been such a prominent figure in the Bill O'Reilly fiasco. So yeah, man. I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, like I said, in our Yoruba sense, a lot of times the head is critical. The way we appear, or the way that we look at the head, and how it's presented to us in terms of its importance to concreting the reality that we want to live, or what it symbolizes in terms of maybe our wise decisions or our foolish mistakes. And sometimes we say Ori L Owo, I say it slower, Ori L Owo. And like you may say that when someone is maybe in different structures, you may say, oh, the person is hard-headed, that child is hard-headed, or that person continues to make certain mistakes that they shouldn't at this point in their lives, because there is a cutoff point where you kind of throw your hands up and say, oh, well, it is what it is, as we say with this person. And or we warn a person that maybe you picked a bad head when you came down, and as a result there's certain work that you need to do with your character because the head is bad. So Ori L Owo means like your head is you don't have a good head, you didn't pick a good head. Or sometimes you'll hear them say Ori Efo, Ori Efo, which is like it's broke. You have a broken head, so it just represents the importance that is put upon having a good sense of consciousness, having a good connection to your consciousness. And you can look at that from so many directions. Of course, yesterday, if any of you had an opportunity so far to catch yesterday's segment on Chief Speaks, what you heard was me speak about or introduce to the platform the idea of power and the idea of Shakti, and how Shakti fits into the feminine movements. Of course, last month, as I mentioned, much of what I spoke about in terms of authority spoke about the man's responsibility, what men do, not only within a familial environment, what men do on the planet, or their inklings and their pull, on the planet. And speaking about Shakti, now we get into more the area of women, and how they manifest their different avatars and their different personalities on the planet, So, and keeping in line with that, one of the things that I kept speaking about, and I guess I do tend to speak about often, is the idea of a woman having a covering. You may hear me say that often, that there needs to be a head, there needs to be a covering. So even as representative as how you may pick your head in a room, or you may pick your head in the harem, or in heaven, before you come to the planet and you say, I want this one, I want that one, because you're not able to necessarily tell if it's a good or bad one until you try it on. As we're told in our tradition, sometimes the heads, they're not done, in terms of they're not cooked all the way, or you know, the potter of heads, as we have in our Yoruba system, he may have been inebriated while he was making your head. So you may pick one that has a problem with it, in that sense. But that's a I guess we could say a metaphysical or even a microcosmic representation of what we even do in the physical, or what women do. Like I often tell you that heaven or Orun, or that sixth dimension is the property and the ownership of the feminine component because it exists within a womb. So it deals with yin energy. It deals with receptivity more than anything. One of the reasons why in this paradigm we send things to Orun. We say, I need this, I need that, I need that, and we may impregnate that dimension, or we may impregnate that reality of the higher realm, or even beyond the astral realms. But we may impregnate the higher realm of Orun with our offerings, or we impregnate the higher realm with our desire, you see, and then it produces something as a result. So we understand that it functions in that same womb reality. And on this side of it, because we're dealing with a third dimensional condensation, we're dealing with the world of definition, which is the world of men, when things become concrete and condensed and defined, and we can touch them, we can put our hand on them. We're seeking to know, we're seeking to define, we're seeking to form, we're seeking to put things in order. But in order to receive something, we have to go to the land of disorder. We have to go to the land of organized chaos, in a sense, which is what we often call heaven, or some may even call the ancestral realm. But it's slightly different than the ancestral realm. But some may still use that definition in that sense. But in either case, we see that realm is governed by the feminine principles. So we seek from, as some may say, from power on high. We seek for that power in that sense, from that space. So you're dealing with the idea of impregnating heaven. You see, it's very similar and in many senses accurate to what our great teacher and elder, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakiman, said when he said that heaven is between a black woman's legs. So that's the idea of Oduduwa, which practically means that by definition, practically means the womb of blackness, or the character of blackness or darkness, and of course his archetypical model would be the black woman, him being a melanoid man. So he's going to use his woman as the model, which is perfectly fine. But in any event, you start to see the relationship there. So even on the planet, like when you hear me speak about, women need a covering and women need a head, sometimes you may pick one, and just because you have picked a head doesn't mean you necessarily picked a good one, and the same movements that you may have to go through in order to rectify that situation are the same movements that you would go through if you picked a bad Ori, or as we say, Ori Efo. If your Ori is broken, if your Ori is broken, then you would ensure that you develop character, and character can then repair a bad Ori, or as we also say, sometimes Koliori Le Owo. When I speak Yoruba slow is hard. I'm used to hearing and saying the phrases faster. But Koliori Le Owo. Now, whenever you see that ko, it's like it's an abstraction, like something does not exist, or to remove, or to not have. Like when we say kosi iku, so to remove death, iku, death. Don't bring death. So Koli Ori is saying there's no head, to remove the head, but Koli Ori Leowo is there's no head in the hand. You know what Owo means, hand. Owo also means money, but Ori Le Owo, there's no head in the hand. You know, and meaning in that sense that the hand represents, like how we move through life, and not just how we move, but how we make decisions, and how we conduct ourselves, in that sense. So if there's no head inside of the hand, it's saying that you're doing things without thinking. You're not governing yourself with your consciousness. You're just doing, which obviously you can see is looked down upon, because if you're doing things without thinking, then, we know that you're doing things foolishly. You're not infusing the higher consciousness, or the realm of consciousness into your decision making. There's no head in your hand. And it's interesting because I have heard people use the phrase, or try to dissect that phrase in the past, and really took it very literally. Took it very literal, and tried to design mythology around that particular phrase. And I remember years ago hearing someone say that. And, that's where it gets a little tricky sometimes, when you're studying your indigenous sciences. What do I take literal? What do I break down? What is symbolic? What's metaphorical? And even once I figure that out, what does it mean? How do you apply it? And in all honesty, this is where your intuition comes in. We all are endowed with a certain degree of psychic and spiritual intuition. So you're able to see things, and you begin to arrange it. It's like seeing a puzzle. And before you put your hand to the puzzle, you begin to arrange the pieces, through cerebration, but through your thinking, and then, so now you're just going through the motions of putting it together. So some things are not so cookie cutter. And a lot of times people are asking those questions, oh, Chief, you broke this down. What did I get? What book do I get to learn how you just figured that out? I don't know. Get a dictionary, get an encyclopedia, get a book on culture or folklores. Essentially, get anything that's going to put you into the mind of the people. Learn the language, spend some time, go eat some food of that culture, see how they taste things and what they find enjoyable, what's sweet to them, what's hot to them, what's bitter to them, what doesn't taste good, what part of the food do they like, what part of the vegetable do they like, things like that. And start to put yourself into that mind state, so you can clearly discern between the inklings and the ideas that may come from your own personal culture, and what may come from the culture of what it is that you're, or who it is, that you're studying. That's important. So that way, now when you go out to choose what we call the OLORI, OLORI. Now, by now, so many of you should know what that prefix O or the prefix OL means, right? By now. Matter of fact, this is what we're going to do, because I see some students in the chat room. So you know what's coming. Somebody in the chat room, tell me what that prefix O or OL represents whenever we're speaking Yoruba. All right. I know it's early in the dawning, Chief. I'm listening to you with my headphones on while I'm working, or while I'm ironing my clothes and getting ready for work. This is not a time for a class, Chief. Yes, it is. It's always time for a class. Okay, good. We're getting some of the answers here. The owner, the ruler, good. Spirit of, what else? Because I gave you the next step in that as well. So let's see if anybody remembers. Yeah, we got the owner of. It's good. That brings a smile to my face already. Already. You know how many people don't know that? You'd be shocked when you start to go out in the world more and interact with your brethren. The spirit of, good, Sister Diana, good. OL is the deifying, good. No, not Ori, brother Byron, selected head. That would be Orisha, really. No, not the I. I. Well, yeah, no, but no, no, no. I'm not going to accept that. Yeah, actually, is a way to the I, but no, there's another thing. Yeah, but you're grabbing Orisha, brother Byron. But we got the owner, which is right. We got the spirit of from Sister Diana, which was right, and I saw something else that was also right. Spirit of the owner, and but there's more. O or old. I taught you more on that one. But okay, you have the basic of it, right? So then we have Ori, Ori, OLORI. Now, brother Byron, now you come in on it. So Ori would be the owner of the head, right? Or the spirit of the head, or the deification, as Sister Michelle said, OL, just like AL or EL or even OR represents the deification. There we go. Thank you, Sister Gina. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of. You see, in our Yoruba culture, the O is still seen as a cipher. Remember, I always told you to look at the shapes that your mouth makes when you're saying certain things. You see, that's critical as well. Owner of wealth and understanding. Where you get wealth from? It's just Jennifer. Y'all racing ahead. Stop racing ahead. Pull back. No, no, no. No, not owner of wealth, not yet. That would be, I think you're thinking OLA, Sister Jennifer. OLA, Ola is wealth in our year, but Ola also means days too, but Ola is as well. But no, no, no. So yeah, so you guys, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the owner of, I saw the deification of, the ruler of Enoch, as well, Mama Sadaka gave us, or is that Sadaka? I don't want to. I apologize if I said your name wrong. I don't know if it's Sadaka or Sadaka, but Sadaka, like the Turkish name Sadaka, but that's usually spelled Sadika. But in any event, so yeah, so now Olori, right? We have Olori. So what would that be? Take your same things that you already got. You all got it right. Brother Byron gave you the second half. Peace, Brother Tareen. It would be the same thing. The owner of, or the deification of, or the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the head, Olori. But in our Yoruba, typically when we say Olori, we're speaking about a leader. Peace, Maria. We're talking about a leader. So Olori is usually what the name that we'll give to whoever is the leader, or the ruler, we could say, in our space, or the head person is the Olori. All right. So again, if you take the same science that we spoke about earlier, that we may look at from a personal perspective, like I have my Ori, my head. I chose or choose my head. This is interesting. Wow. I'm burning some oil over here right now. It's an oil mixture that I made. And as I'm talking, I can taste the oil in my mouth. I'm sitting here, as I'm talking to you, I'm saying, why am I tasting all this sweet stuff in my mouth? What is this? It's the oil. I don't know if that's good or bad. All right, we'll find out. I mean, I made it. It's all natural, but I've never had that experience before. Now I'm a little nervous about opening my mouth. Maybe I should blow that candle out. No, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna see what comes of it. Let's see if I get any hallucinations. I can go to heaven. But anyway, so of course you have the idea of Ori, which represents head, and Ori also connects itself to the idea of Haru, in word, even in word sound and vibration. So it's still that idea of head, or what is upper, or what is above. But when you have Olori, you have the idea of the leader in that sense. So what I was saying earlier was, if we apply the same thinking, like, okay, in heaven, I choose my head, And sometimes I may choose a good one, I may choose a bad one, but there's certain things that I do in order to rectify my choice or to cultivate. Sometimes I choose a great head. I have a great destiny in front of me, a great character. I just have to do things to keep it, fed and to keep it moving forward. But ultimately, character is what I'm going to need to sustain and to keep a good head. Character is what I'm going to need to repair a bad head, or a bad destiny, as we may say. So it's the same thing in your leadership circle. So, it's just like men, there's opportunities that we choose in OLORI, just like when you have a teacher, you're choosing a head, or even from a political sense, when you vote in someone, even though your vote doesn't really count, but let's just pretend it does. When you vote someone into office, you're choosing a head, or you say, I'm going to join this shrine, this Ile, or this fraternal organization where there's a hierarchy of leadership. You're choosing a head all the same. So you have all of these macrocosmic representations and procedural activities that we get into that, emulate what it is that we do in Orun, and it's the idea again of the head coming forth, playing with this oil. This is interesting. But, in any event, I wanted to speak on that because, like I said, I often speak about a covering, and I speak about a head and the importance of it. And there's an initiative that I'm working on right now for primarily the women of Anu, but it will also be good for the men of Anu. And one of the things that's critical right now, and this is for Anu Life Global members. This is, not for the general populace, but one of the things that's important for us to always have, all of us, is a good head. As men or as women, it's good to have a good head. And there's so many different ways that good headship, or that good, as we say, upper headship or upper leadership is disseminated to us. Men need coverings as well. And again, we referenced to my little crude umbrella model that I created before that show that time. But you see that at all times, everyone is covered. Now, the beauty of what the women receive and the children is that they're covered by a tangible individual on the planet. And the man is covered by the cosmos, so for some men, that may be a little bit more difficult if they're not clear as to how to connect with those vibrations, or with that vibration of the cosmos. But ultimately, the choosing of a head is critical. The choosing of an Oba is critical. The choosing of a chief is critical. The choosing of an Oberyn is critical. Oberyn means man. I'm sorry, Oberyn is woman. Excuse me. Okuryn, like Oko. Okuryn. Okuryn is woman. So Okuryn is man. I'm sorry. So the choosing of a man, of a husband, an Oko, is also very important because it symbolizes the same way you chose your Ori. Because remember, your Ori is what fuels, going back again, I'm going to grab Brother Byron's, the Ori is what we choose to, or what we utilize to fuel everything that we do. So it's just like when we say, this person has no head in their hand, that example I gave earlier. A person not having a head in their hands means that they're doing things without leadership. They're doing things without divine sanction. They're doing things without divine guidance or even ancestral guidance. They're just doing stuff, and that becomes disorder because it's not within a natural order and a natural flow and movement of the evolutionary forces of the cosmos. And you are one of the evolutionary forces. A part of you is here. Like I said, we're not necessarily here to obey nature. We're here to evolve nature, not mutate it, but to evolve it. Our very presence evolves it. And when we're not living, when we're not on our deen, or we're not standing on our square, we begin to mutate nature. We see problems in nature, those problems in nature are reflective of the powers of the problems in us because of the fact that we have Ori. Not everything has an Ori. We have a head. Not everything has that spiritual head or deposit from Olodumare. So you fuel and you feed everything around you through your head. So, as we say, Oriefo, if the head is broken, then you will send out broken vibrations through the head. You see? Or if the man is broken, the family is going to be broken. You see? Now, they may still survive, but they may not live. They may just exist, So you want to look at that, not just, again, I want to reiterate this personally. Okay, I have a bad Ori. I've had a bad destination. I picked a bad one. I'm going to develop character to get out of this situation, to get me out of this. But you also want to look at it from the standpoint of how we operate through the community. You may have picked a bad leader. You may have picked a bad husband. You may have picked a bad bishop, a bad pastor, or we could just go down the list, right? How do I resolve it? Through character. Through character development is how you fix a bad head. So the OLORI, which is, again, the leader or the head of the Ori, or you all know the OL now, right? So I don't have to keep going through that. All right. And I'm proud of you for knowing. Proud of you. And especially you newbies like Sister Diana Williams. I didn't expect her to come strong like that because I know she's new to it. But those of you, you've been listening, obviously. So you have that part. And again, like I tell you, you'd be surprised how much you'll learn just by learning some of the common prefixes that you'll see, like ko or ku or ol or o. You'll start to understand again why so many of these deities' names have that o or ol in front of them, which will also allow you to look at the ones that don't have that a little different. You may look at Shango or his other name, we call it Jakutare, and then you understand why we say Oba Koso, or there's the O, okay, Oba, cool. But you may look at Eshu, and then you say, well, these are titles. So is that O present at any point? Is there an aspect that we can master to a degree by gaining the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? Yeah. You have O forms. Popular one is Odara, right? That's Odara. There's different forms, but you'll find that some entities may not have that O like that. But again, when you see the prefix, it just gives you so much more information. If I guess we could say if you know what to look for, But the concept of Ori, and I know I'm not doing a show on Ori, by the way. That's not necessarily what we're talking about, but the idea of a path that is laid out for you by your Ori or by your destiny, or the idea that of a path that is laid out for you by your head, is one and the same. And the same things that you would look for from your Ori, you should be looking for from your OLORI, from your head, from your leadership. So women, the same things that you're looking for from your personal head, you should be looking for from your matrimonial head. The same things. The same way that you have a trust and a reliance on your Ori or your consciousness, it's the same trust and reliance that you need to have on your OLORI. Now, what's so funny? I was listening to just a small snippet of a lecture yesterday. I won't say by who, but it was I guess we could call him an elder. Well, he's an older person, and I would say maybe the Conscious Network. Maybe he was a leader of a big movement. But so I don't necessarily, I would say he's part of the conscious community per se, but many people in his movement would consider themselves, I guess, in the conscious movement, But he was speaking about, a question was asked of him. A woman said, how do we get back to our leadership as women? And he said, the first thing you have to do is stop listening to men. He said, you lost your leadership and you lost your power the minute you began to listen to men, the minute you began to come under what they said to do and their guidance and control. And then he brought up the maternal principle, and he said, because, think about it, you're the mother, you're the woman, and he said, we should be coming to you. And then he went on this long thing about, how controlling men are, and how insecure men are. He just cracking some jokes about how when a woman comes home and she comes home late and the man is like, where you been? Where, his insecurities come to the surface and things like that. And, how he just seeks to control her at every angle. And because of that, she gave up her power. And he even used an example that, when a man gets in trouble or he really needs someone to talk to, but when he's really down and out, the first person he runs to is his mother. And I'm listening to this. I mean, some of you have been listening to me for a while. You probably can imagine I wasn't really agreeing. And I'm saying, but you're up here talking. Why isn't your wife up here talking then? And a woman asked you for direction and you gave it to her, even albeit poor direction, but you gave it to her. So if you're saying she lost her power by following men or listening to men, then why would you advise her to listen to what you just said? And this was towards the end of the lecture. He had been talking already for quite some time. So you probably should have introduced your lecture that way and said, I'm going to say some stuff, but sisters, don't listen to me because, don't listen to a man. And as I'm just listening, and this is a person at a very big movement. As I'm listening, I'm saying, this is where the pandering begins. And this is where the real and the true confusion comes in. Because you're pandering to these sisters, obviously for their support. You obviously it's because of their financial support. But you're saying that we all should come underneath her now. And, I've made it very clear many times I am not one who's an opponent of matriarchy. I don't have a issue whatsoever. In fact, I did a show on matriarchy, where I shared that matriarchy and patriarchy can exist within the same space. One from the feminist movement, you're taught that it's either or. Down with patriarchy, down with patriarchy. Like there's a movement now within the feminist movement where they're trying to eradicate Father's Day because they feel that it's unfair for same-sex parents. Which is a little bit backwards, because what about when same-sex parents, when you have two men? Is it unfair to them? But, and it's interesting because they're not moving to eradicate Mother's Day, just Father's Day. Sometimes it's good to get beyond the emotion and step back and just kind of listen to some of the idiocracy. And honestly, from this person, me listening to this, I wasn't surprised. I mean, I've heard him say things that were crazy before, but it's really sad when people will reach so far for success or for achievement or for financial or monetary gain that they'll reach so far to destroy their own people, and they do it so smooth. And there's certain things that we'll clap and we'll cheer to, and it's like Star Wars, man. It was the Phantom Menace. I think it was the Phantom Menace, but it was that scene where they elected the I'm bad with these names, man. The senator, the guy who was a Dark Lord. I can't remember his name right now. I wish Loda Scholar was in the chat because he's good with all of that. He remembers all of that stuff. But and they all applauded and cheered. And that's when Yoda was like, the curtain of the dark side or something has fallen. But I'm looking at that. I'm saying, look at that. That scene was so interesting to me because I was like, that's exactly how the downfall comes. We applaud our own downfall. It always comes with applause. A new law is passed. That takes away more of our freedom, but it takes away our freedoms in the names of protecting us. Oh, we're gonna have to do this to keep you safe and to keep America safe, and we applaud it and we cheer it. We cheer our own oppression and don't even realize it. So it always comes at the behest of that. So as I was listening to him, and again, like I said, it was it wasn't no rinky dink operation. This person had a very big movement, or had a very big movement at one point. And I'm hearing him speak, and I'm saying, there's so many contradictions here, but I guess people are not catching it because he's saying what a large population of those who were listening wanted to hear. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the chat before I come back to this. I saw a question mark. Maria, Chief, did the women pick a bad man, or was the vibration / attraction they were in at the moment? I feel once the feminine character gets elevated and lifted, the Ori becomes clear. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the skin. Chief, did the women pick a bad man, or was the vibration / attraction they were in at the moment? I feel once the feminine character gets elevated and lifted, the Ori becomes clear. It's kind of both, because again, when sometimes you pick a bad head in a room because you don't really know how it was prepared. Well, and the same thing in your relationships, that's why sometimes we're told that relationships do require some work. They do require some effort, because sometimes we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. So it may not be perfect in the beginning, just like your Ori or your head may not be perfect in the beginning, regardless of vibration. We're all perfecting works. So your Ori is a perfecting work. It may not have been finished in Orun, so you have to finish it on Earth. So it's the same thing in your relationships. Yeah, obviously, yeah, absolutely right. If a person is of a low vibration, they're gonna attract higher vibration. Lower vibration, but they may inherently seek out higher vibration to balance themselves out. Was it Emperor Palpatine? Okay, that's what I was thinking. Thank you, Vivid Eye Publications. I wasn't sure if Palpatine was the name of Padme's last name. I thought Padme, her last name was Palpatine. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, Emperor Palpatine, the Dark Lord, Sith Lord. Anyway, back to Maria. And no, that just jumped over. He just put that in the chat. I noticed it. But yeah, so that idea, did the woman pick a bad man, or was the vibration attraction? Again, like, I'm not necessarily saying she may pick a bad man, but she may pick a bad head. Right? So you might have a good man, but he's not a good head for her, or the character and destiny that he has may not be conducive for leadership. So sometimes he has to learn that, like you hear me often say, building the bike as we're riding it. He has to learn leadership along the way. You see? So it's the same thing when you pick your consciousness, when you pick your head before you come down. Some things may not be complete, but through your character development or the raising of your vibration, you build it as you go. Like you said, I feel once the feminine character gets elevated and lifted, the Ori becomes clear. Yeah, your Ori's intentions, excuse me, yes, do become more clear as your character. But I will say this, that it's not the feminine character, it's the character. So it's gender exclusive, or I should say gender inclusive, gender neutral. That's probably a better way to put it. Because remember, like I was speaking about yesterday, I don't know if you caught yesterday's show, but Shakti and Shiva, the feminine and masculine exists within. So, by clarifying or lifting or elevating, as you say, the feminine character, while at the same time lifting and elevating the masculine, or really it would look more like this. By elevating the masculine character and de-elevating the feminine character. That's really what it would be. In that sense, then you begin to find the balance and things become clear. Because you remember and we're using lift, we're using directional notations, but it's not a direction per se, but just for our own human understanding. When we say elevated or lifted, it doesn't mean that one is above the other. It's just the way we perceive direction. But essentially your feminine character goes inward or it goes downward, because you're dealing with the deepness of things, the darkness of things, the corruption of things, when you're going deeper into the feminine or more inward into the feminine, and the masculine is going more outward, or we may say upward, in that sense. But yeah, balancing those two on your path will make your Ori more clear. Yeah, absolutely. So you want to do them both. But yeah, it's not necessarily that the person picks a bad man, in a sense, because the Ori is not the whole of the individual. So a person picking a leader or picking a good leader is not like, you may have a husband who's a great guy, but just may not know leadership. In the same instance, I may be good at teaching, but I may not be good at leading. Or I may be good at rituals and may know different languages and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily designed for leadership, or that I've studied leadership or are any good at it, at leading people. But it doesn't mean I'm a bad man in a sense, or I'm underdeveloped man in that sense. I may just not have that wherewithal or that acumen as of yet. And the same thing with your head. Sometimes there's certain good things about your head. Like, you may have a great brain, but a poor mind. You may be very intelligent, but you have no respect for the unseen world. I meet people like that all the time. I'll tell you, that's actually the challenge a lot of times of Oya people. Oyas have a little trouble with that. A lot of times they're very intelligent and they're very powerful. See, what makes Oyas so scary sometimes is because they're very powerful, but often their power, comes as a precursor to their emotions, not necessarily their deliberate work. That's one of the challenges that Oya people, and I'm not saying that's a perpetual concrete written in stone thing, but that's one of the challenges that they come with often, that they have to work on. They have the power already, but how do I utilize my my spirit consciousness to will that power? That's a challenge a lot of times of Oya people. So it's kind of synonymous with what I'm saying. You have the Shiva, but you haven't tapped into the Shakti at the level that you should. I don't know what you mean by a little, Sister Michelle. I don't even know if you're answering or asking something of me. All it says there is a little. So I don't know if you're meant to type more. All right. So yeah, that would be the answer for that, Maria. The idea there is that high vibration or low vibration, sometimes we pick bad heads. in that sense, and we use character to rectify it. But yeah, absolutely, if your vibration is higher, the chances are that you'll pick a better one is greater. Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes, we still don't know what we're getting. Sometimes you pick someone, your vibration is high, everything is right. You may be right for that person, but it doesn't mean that you're going to have a peaceful or an easygoing relationship. Sometimes, like I said, your soulmate is the one that rips your soul open. It's different ways to do that. A soul, usually for us, because we're so hard-headed as humans, our souls are usually ripped open through pain. We go through horrible experiences. The person who can bring us there, most people we can just brush off, hang up the phone, block the number, not answer the door. It's that person that can always get in. That's the soulmate. And they hurt us so much. And it may be that hurt that regardless of the amount of development that we do in life, just to hear their name or to, see their picture or, see their number pop up on your call ID, it's like, oh God, what is this? It brings everything back up. You're eating your dinner, you just put your plate to the side. Oh, I can't even eat this now. Why? Because they just put an update on their Twitter, and why am I still following them on Twitter? Whatever it is. But so this oftentimes for us as humans, it's that person who rips us open. That's the soulmate, the person who brings you to those critical questions that exist inside of the soul that we came down here to answer. And those are typically the ones that we dodge the most, Yeah. Vivid Eye Publication says the feminine contracts and the masculine expands, creating balance. Is that correct? I'm not going to answer that. Somebody else should answer that. So Vivid Eye Publications asked the feminine contracts and the masculine expands, creating balance. Is that correct? Somebody in the chat room should know the answer to that. Step up, step up, step up. Sister Sequoia says, can our children, okay. I think you got your answer, brother. Vivid Eye Publications. Nikki Love stepped up. Let's see who else steps up. Sequoia says, can our children be our soulmates as well? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But a lot of times your children are your astral mates. A lot of times. They're not, it depends, but it's possible. It's possible. Sometimes you may give birth to a past life lover. That's possible. But most often, your children, and sometimes even your mate, believe it or not, is not your soulmate. Most often. Because a lot of times, if you think about it, if you just use the model that I just gave you, and I'm not saying it happens like that, like every soulmate is going to hurt you. I'm not saying that. And we have more than one. I know people, they get off into this twin flame ideology. It sounds cool, but usually it's more than one, because think about how vast the soul is. People always think in terms of doubles here in this world because it's the idea that it's the duality. It's either this or it's either that. It's either light or it's either dark. It's either male or it's either female. So many people are still working from the Adamic perspective, or really I should say from the Euro-Christian perspective, that God made Adam and Eve. So when we start talking about soulmates, it's like I have one soulmate. It's either going to be Adam or it's going to be Eve. And I say Euro-Christian because in your true Christian studies, you'll learn that Adam had another wife. So Adam had more than one wife. So that doesn't really apply. But typically what you're taught is he just had one, right? I mean, really, Adam was a group of people. There wasn't one Adam. There wasn't one Eve. We were talking about, you're talking about a collective of people represented by Adam and Eve. But anyway, so yeah, your children could be that, but most often is, your children. I mean, I'm sorry, they're your astral mates. So Brother Byron says, no, it is not. I think he's answering Vivid Eye Publications. Is contract the same as receptive, Chief? No, not necessarily. Because you can contract sometimes in order to close yourself off to something. Like you can contract a doorway or you can expand a doorway. So you can contract in order to block something from getting in, So no, not necessarily. Just like when you contract your muscle, but Vivid Eye said the feminine contracts and the masculine expands. I still don't want to answer it. So I'm still going to let you, whoever wants to explain on that further, feel free. Sister Michelle says, I think so, Brother Byron. It means pulling inward. Yeah. See, that's the power of the woman, is her ability to receive and contract, different things in that sense, but keep in mind that the feminine presence is very womb centric at all times. So women are always contracting. When they come into a relationship, they start contracting. Well, how do we know that? Because they start mothering. They're very womb centric. They see everyone as everything as being inside of their womb. Once they establish an environment, they want to control that environment. They want their house. That's why usually when they're pregnant, they begin that nesting process. They start throwing things out. They want to paint all of a sudden, and We need to redo these floors. You know, there might be bed bugs on the floor. We never had bed bugs. You never know. Sometimes they plant eggs in the floors. So now you're sanding floors, all these different things, because she's thinking in terms of the controlled environment that she's emulating, that she has inside of her womb. She has to control that environment, as we see in the sacred Odu of Odi Meji. You know, O-D. O, right? I don't have to give you that one anymore. You got that. So now you know the only word you need to learn is D, because you already know the O. D means to give birth or to hold. It's a dualistic term, which kind of helps with Brother Byron's understanding, you know, with that question. D means to give birth or to hold, right? So OD, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of giving birth or of holding. How would those two be synonymous in a sense where when one is letting go of something and one is keeping something? You know, again, English is so inadequate when we want to learn certain ideas, you know, or when we want to learn certain viewpoints from an indigenous perspective. English hardly ever gives us enough. You know, like we speak about the Nomo again in our Dogon culture. The Nomo, you know, obviously represents archetypes or energies, but it also represents a certain way we look at words. Like I said, you know, even in your Congolese structure, words are looked at from 4 different sides. So we may have a word like D in Yoruba, which means to give birth, but we would also say, but it also means to hold. Now, in our English, we would say, well, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, come on. How many you have read in English, which could mean to, you know, literature, to, you know, to alliterate something, but reed could also be a plant. So, you know, but yeah, there's different ways to look at the word. There's so many different sizes in that sense. So let's see, let's go back to what you guys have here, what you come up with. Chaka Guru says, Shaga Guru says, contract meaning to restrict, Brother Brian. Sister Michelle says, I think so, Brother Byron. It means pulling inward. And Sequoia says, to Vivid Eye Publications, the feminine is magnetic. And then Vivid Eye says, right, so that magnetic force should pull the electric force. Okay. Shaga Guru, you got to tighten that up a little bit. Contract meaning to restrict, contract. Because couldn't an expansion be a restriction? Someone tries to come towards you and you push them away. That's a form of restriction. So you might, you know, tighten that one up a little bit. There's more there. Yeah, I wanted to mention that too. I see Brother Vivid Eyes' side note about 13 weeks away from my birth. I wanted to mention that yesterday. He said he was listening yesterday, but he was putting together the crib, you know, for his forthcoming daughter, you know. So I was I had a proud brotherhood moment, you know, for the brother. I'm happy for you. You got a daughters are cool, man. I'm telling you, daughters are cool. It's always cool having. I mean, sons are cool. Sons are alright, you know, but having your daughter first, I'm telling you, it just changes everything about you, man. So I'm very happy for you and for your woman, you know. Um, I'm just laughing. I'm recalling. I was in a store recently and I said that term. I said something. I said, yeah, my woman. And the store owner said, your woman? Your woman? It's like you're saying like she's your property, your woman. I'm like, who are you talking to? You know, I had to check her. I was like, yo, what? I said, this is my culture. This is how I talk. You could say, you probably say partner. I don't know if you're talking to a guy or a girl. And she was like, yeah, well, partner is more appropriate. I said, more appropriate for your culture. My culture, I say woman. But anyway, so I was laughing just now when I said that. But yeah, man, I'm happy for you and your woman, man. You know, this is a very good time, man. And it's beautiful that you two are together during this time. You know, so many people, sadly, during the pregnancy, their relationships break down. You know, that's a commonality, man. But, you know, older man, the younger man, let me tell you, man, um, this time that you're experiencing right now in your life, expecting that baby coming forward and all the little things that you're doing. Like, I know you're here learning what you're learning right now because of that girl that's coming, because of your baby girl that's coming. I know you are, because you want to be smart for her. You want to know spirituality for her. You don't want the family to get duped, man. This is a time in your life right now that you'll never forget. The little things you put in that crib together, you're going to remember when you put that crib together for the rest of your life. This is your good old days. and the beautiful things as well, brother Vivid Eye Publications, is this. Once you have that baby, you're going to realize how boring your life was before the baby. I don't care what you did. I don't care if you sold hot air balloons around the world, skydived, rob banks, whatever it is, you're going to see when that baby comes, everything you did prior to having your baby was boring. Because one cool thing about children is that they change every day. Every single day they're doing something new. They look more like you, they act more like you or like the mother every single day. They make facial expressions that you forgot you used to make. All of those different things like that, man. So, trust me, brother, just, lock these times in, man, and the strength that you're about to see in your woman as well. At times later when she may be getting on your nerves and you're contemplating making some other moves, remember the strength that you're getting ready to see her show. And the strength that you're getting ready to see her show is going to tell you something. You don't know nothing about her. She probably doesn't even know much about her yet until she has this baby. When you're going to see her give birth, or hear it. I don't know if you're going to be in the room, but the nights of her staying up late, changing dirty diapers, being dead tired, breastfeeding, trying to get the baby to latch on, all of that stuff, man, that as men, we'd be like, all right, I'm done, man. This is too much. We'd be hiring people and stuff, whatever. But what you're about to see that sister go through, man, is going to give you a different kind of respect for her than you've ever had before, man. So trust me, man. Like I said, older brother, the younger brother, enjoy this time, man. These are your good old days. And there's going to be times with that baby, your little girl, that there's going to be certain moments. We all have our ages where we look at our children and we only see them at that age. For some of us, it may be around 5 or 6. Your child may be 15, 16 years old, 20 years old. You'll see him. And that goes for, we also have someone who's expecting this month, actually. I'm not going to blow anybody up in the group, in the chat, but we have a bunch of knocked up women. No, I'm playing. but we have a couple of expectant mothers, in ASSAAN-ANU right now. So there's some other people in the space having that. So that goes to both of you. You'll always have that age that you see him at. It may be 5 or 6 or 7 or and that will be the age that you kind of crystallize them in your mind, man. So, brother, reach out to the brotherhood if you need us. What you're getting ready to go through now, and you got a girl coming, so you're gonna be surrounded by a lot of estrogen. Some high potent, mega estrogen. So, you make sure you stay connected with the brothers, man, to keep you balanced. And to keep you clear, especially those of us who've gone through it before, because there may be some challenges that come up too. Sometimes during that time, there are things that women expect of us that it's confusing. Sometimes even some of the mistakes that women make with the children, you're going to find certain things that she may do that you have to console her about. And she may be inconsolable. Sometimes small things, man. Women drop babies, stuff like that. And they're tough, man, because they're so soft and resilient. They don't get hurt as easy as we think, but they make mistakes sometimes. They put the wrong kind of food or the wrong kind of diaper, or they use talcum powder, and then they find out later they should never have used baby powder because powder is horrible for a child's lungs. It causes asthma and all kind of other conditions. They find that out later. Or maybe they put petroleum jelly, on their baby. They put Vaseline on them, stuff like that. And oh my God, I found out I shouldn't do that. I'm a horrible mother. And so it's very challenging as an interested and invested man. It's very challenging to figure out what to say, to figure out how to. There we go. Eli Walden is expecting. Yeah, Maria is. I wasn't gonna blow you up, Maria, but Maria, she let everybody know. Yeah, Maria is about to drop the baby from Maroon. Even sooner than brother Vivid Eyes lady. So yeah, Maria's got we have another Anu baby on the way. Yeah, so we got some special youth, man. Any day now. Any day? No, wait a minute. I thought it was closer to the end of the month, Maria. Yeah, I got my dates wrong. I know you told me the date about 8 times. But yeah, man, I thought it was more towards the end of the month. Maybe I got that wrong. My bad. Yeah, May 28th. Yeah, you got some time. You got some time. You got like 20 days. You got some time. I thought it was the 28th. Yeah. Don't rush it. Don't rush it, Maria, because you about to not. By the end of the month, you ain't gonna be sleeping. All right, so don't rush it. You ain't gonna be sleeping, and you're gonna have a new individual in your house that the only thing you good for is milk bags. The baby ain't gonna see you as nothing but a milk bag. Right? So take your time. It's a whole different experience. And your husband, you're gonna see he's gonna have to exercise a new level of patience and understanding, and most of the stuff you're gonna be saying out your mouth, he ain't gonna understand, because that's just how it is when women first have babies. We just kind of just, I don't know, we just kind of standing looking dumb. You want some water? You want some tea? Everything he's gonna offer you ain't gonna want. You want me to get you want? No, just go. Can you just go in the other room? So don't rush it. Don't rush it, man. I'm telling you, Maria, you ain't gonna be sleeping for a little while. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. Children are great, man, because that's one of our duties. That's one of our jobs, and many of our spiritual systems. Children are considered a debt that we repay. To the world of souls. So maybe I'll break down that side. And I know I've diverged greatly because of the baby talk, but so what, man? It's worth it. It's more important than what I was just talking about. So anybody who wants to say, oh, he's still talking about them babies, man, go back to the Ori, whatever. So in many of our systems, maybe I'll break that down one day in light of, but in our Vedic systems, our Hindi systems, when you start studying the Brahmic code, you start to learn about the debt that people come and they pledge to repay, those who choose the path of enlightenment. And one of the debts that they come into the world, we talk about choosing your destiny before you come. One of the debts that they come with is repayment to the land of souls by having a child. So yeah, man. So it's beautiful all around, and of course you got the support, Maria. You're more than welcome. Of course you have the support. And the same goes for Vivid Eye Publications. I always tell you I give preferential treatment to families anyway. But aside from that, man, what is that baby going to be? You know what I mean? How could we not support that baby? that baby may be the one that's going to turn all this around for us. That baby may dig through some of your old lectures and stuff. I can't say tapes because we're out of that now, but the old lectures and stuff one day, and say, you know what, I'm gonna turn this thing around. Like, I learned all of my parents had all of this information here. I'm gonna fix this situation. Yeah, I heard this guy Chief talking about it, but he didn't fully do it. So every baby should be celebrated and welcomed, and revered. An ancestor came. Imagine you getting another chance. And thinking about the cosmos saying, I'm going to give this one another chance, man. That's a big deal. That's something to celebrate. We celebrate when our teams win games and stuff like that, but you think about the profundity of a child coming back through, man, and saying, you know what, I get another chance to do this thing and to do it right. And I've been gifted this opportunity. That's a cause for great celebration. It really, really is. And for me, it's a cause for great support. Do what you can, man, and make sure that child has all it needs. Because, like I said, if that child turns around and sets things straight for us, everyone will be on that child's job. Oh, that's so and so's baby. I know her. Nah, man. Don't try to jock ride later. Jock ride while the baby's still ride the baby's jock while the baby's still in the belly. Okay, and show that support, man. Light them candles. Pour out that water. Offer them those dehydrated or de-aired baby clothes that you've had packed up all them years, and that you're never going to use, but everyone come in and you offer when those egun return like that, man. That's a precious thing. And that's for Vivid Eye, that's for Maria, and that's for anyone else, man. Anyone else. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm happy for you all, man. I'm happy for, especially for, and I might also add that these are new parents, by the way. So for anyone listening, Maria and Vivid Eye, these are new parents. So that's why it's even greater cause for celebration. And think about, I know a lot of times, sometimes we can be very me-centric, but think about, when maybe you came through, you were born, maybe there's some of the conditions that you were born under, or when you had your first child, some of the conditions there, and what maybe you wish you may have had. So it's an opportunity to maybe give someone what what you didn't have, or what you needed, or again, for Vivid Eye, giving him that conscious brotherhood. You see, it's cool to have your boys, bring cigars and, take you to the club. Yeah, your baby, are we going to go celebrate? Let's go pop some bottles. But there's another aspect, because there's work to do, man. There's naming ceremonies that need to be done. There's readings that need to be done. There may be ebos that need to be done for both of these babies. So as a conscious collective, there's a whole nother level of assistance that can be offered, even remotely. Even if you barely even know these two, it doesn't matter, because, you probably, most of you didn't know a lot of the social activists that made changes that allowed you now to do some of the things that you couldn't do prior to that. You see? So just, give some, you don't know what this baby's going to do or what those babies are going to do. We don't even know, some of the great things that they may perform, but we can create a proper launch pad for both of them, and whatever support is needed, we give it. These may be the new chiefs of our movements. One of them babies may go and buy up, 2,000 or 3,000 acres somewhere in the Caribbean 20 years from now. It ain't that long. 20 years from now, one of them babies that's getting ready to come out may buy up 2,000 or 3,000 acres in the Caribbean and say, hey, I'm setting up an eco village. Who wants to come? Now, some of you now, you're at the age of 20 years from now, you'd be ready to retire. And they may say, hey, come on down. You always showed favor to my parents and this and that. So come on, You know, I'm not saying bribe Maria and Vivid Eye Publications because they may end up giving birth to, world leaders. I'm just saying, you never know. Like we whisper into the baby's ear, are you the one? Right? I know many of you may be familiar with that tradition that we hold indigenously. When the baby comes out, are you the one? All right. So I'm going to get ready to head out here. I'm slowly bringing it down. And I see all the sisters are congratulating them and telling them how fun it is to have babies and all of that stuff. you know. So that's all good. Yeah, it is fun. I'm telling you, it is. It is. Well, they're fun at a certain age, and they get annoying around between 9 and 11. Ugh, they're annoying. They just know everything, and know that age where you don't really want to spank them anymore. You still trying to figure out how to discipline them. But between like 8 or 9 and 11, it gets a little rough, and then they kind of come out of that. But for the next 8 years, it's gonna be great. Until they turn really bratty around 8, 11. That's when they start learning about child protection laws. Wait a minute. I was reading something the other day. All right. Okay. They start using, words on you. Oh, Baba, you're being so facetious. What? What'd you just say to me? I'm just saying, Baba, you're acting so pretentious. What? They start really getting in your head like that, When they get around 8, they start learning how to pick up dictionaries and encyclopedias and stuff like that. And, they start acting up a little bit, and then around 12, it begins to taper off because they're getting ready to be teenagers, and they're intimidated by the older teens, because they're getting ready to be teens. They think, the world is about to open up to them. Everything's about to change. When I'm 13 next year, just watch, Bob. I'm gonna be stunting on them when I'm 13. They really think everything's gonna change at 13. So but they things get a little bit different. And it's nice when you get to that age with your children where their personalities really come out. And you can make a decision if you like them. Like one of the greatest compliments one of my elders gave me one day, well, it gave me and my siblings. He was like, I really like y'all. Y'all are cool. He's like, I realized that as y'all have grown up, you've actually turned into cool people I like to be around. I consider y'all, people I enjoy your company. So, and that's always a good thing. Your children get to that age where, you can actually crack jokes and enjoy them. And if you have youth like mine, it may start early. Mine were like that at 2, 3 years old. 2, they were pulling practical jokes. I got some weird alien children, man. They started everything real early, and kind of took everybody by surprise. Yeah, Brother Byron, when the daughter hits puberty, oh God. Tell me about it. And them breasts come out and them booties come out, and yeah, you just gotta wait through it. A lot of ginger tea to settle the stomach. I could tell you that honestly. A lot of ginger tea. You just kind of just have to trust that what you're giving them early on has taken root in that sense. But yeah, when them daughters hit puberty, man, it's and then their personalities change, and then they're on their menses, so they're acting funny with you, and you don't know if it's menses or if they're just acting funny with you, But all of that is exciting. Before I had children, I had already traveled the world and did all kind of beautiful things, and a lot of, because I'm a thrill seeker. So a lot of crazy things and jumping out of stuff and racing stuff and, stabbing stuff and getting stabbed and just, thrill seeking. But before, after having children, that stuff was boring. I was looking for a high. Now I wake up every day to a high, or sometimes you're woken up by the high. Child comes in, just smacks you on top of your head, or just tries to bring you breakfast while you're sleeping and spills juice all over you in your sleep, stuff like that, But that's the good stuff of life. Trust me. That's the exciting stuff, brother and sister. You'll see. But tap into the brotherhood and the sisterhood for that help. Jennifer says, I'm at 3, 3, and 5, still cruising. Yeah, you good for another couple of years, Jennifer. Because at that age, they still want to please you. Wait till they get to that middle school age, 12, 13. Then they don't care about pleasing you. At 3 and 5 and up to 8 and 9, they still carry your bags when you walk in the door. Yeah, they asking you what you bought me, but they still, can I carry your thing? And then they're fighting over who can carry the bag. They still want to, at a certain age, where at 3, you can't sit them in the front seat, but they want to sit next to you and fighting to sit next to you. Once they hit 12, 13, man, want nothing to do with you. Who gonna take me to the mall? After a certain, all my youth, man, all they care about is the Wi-Fi. Baba, the Wi-Fi is out. All right. That's all. I'm good. Can you pick me up? It's late. Pick me up. The Wi-Fi is out. Let me get a haircut. Let me borrow your sunglasses. Let me wear your watch. Yeah, this is what I sacrifice for. Yep. Pack my stuff. I got a college trip I got to take soon. Got one coming back. But yeah, man, that's how it is, man. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Tareen says, I'm built for it now. I'm preparing myself now for the teenhood. Yeah. But you know what? You got a son, Tareen. When your son is under you, man. So sons are easier. Plus as a guy, you already know what he's gonna be trying to do. You know what it is, man. He wants to be fly, he wants to meet girls. That's easy. It's not like a girl teen. Boy teens are easy because they're very simple because they're so driven by their hormones at that age. Unless you have a young man who maybe is a little bit more on the shall we say the dorkier side, then that's a little bit more of a challenge, because you got to try to figure out a way to, make him cool in his own skin. You might have one of those youths who just not into girls yet, which is cool too. There's no reason to rush that, but you may have one who's just into computers or whatever, and you got to show them how that's cool too, because nerds rule the world. I've been saying that since way back when. Nerds rule the world. Revenge of the Nerds is on and popping, because this Donald Trump thing is only going to last for a little while, but ultimately nerds rule the world. All right, so we're going to get out of here. I know many of you need to get to work, and if you're not going to work, you need to go look for a job. So I'm playing with you. I'm not in the jobs, but yeah, like I said, I'm going to slowly start pulling back on the shows a little bit. When I mean pulling back, cutting the time. No more 3-4 hour shows. All right. So get what you're getting and get it now. But yeah, the idea of Ori choosing your head is critical. And I want you people, I don't want to say you sisters, I want you all to think about that. Really, really think about it. The importance of a head, the importance of a covering, aside from my crude illustration, even outside of that, why it's so important to have good leadership. It's just as important as having a good Ori or a good connection to your guru self or your consciousness, because it connects you to the authority that now allows you to move all the other spiritual energies. Remember, without Ori, like we say, if I want a wife, I ask my Ori. Now you can replace that with husband if you want, but Bioba Malaya Berilo Owo Orire. Bioba Ma Kole Berilo Owo Orire. If I want a wife, I ask my Ori. If I want a house, I ask my Ori. So you start to see that Ori becomes the authority. That's what gives you the authority to direct the Orisha. You see, so the selecting and the choosing of that Ori is just as important as the selecting and choosing as the head of your life. Woo, Mama Sadaka. Now I see why you put Mama in front of your name. She says, mine are 6, 13, 16, 18, and 33. You got a corporate body there. They better buy an island. And I want my spot at the highest point of the island, by the way. So I'm putting in my bid now. I want to be at the highest point. I want to be able to overlook the whole island from where my plot of land is. And I definitely want to be able to see the dock at the port where ships approach. Because you got 6, 13, 16, 18, and 33. They better go buy an island somewhere. And I want a spot. All right? I want a spot. She said, done seen, learned, experienced quite a bit. There's that wisdom. But I'm grateful maybe a couple more soon come. I don't doubt it. If you got a 6-year-old, that means you're still producing. You're still producing. You know, I want that island. I'm putting it out there now, man. I'm not afraid to ask. You know, I done planted the vine. Now I want to drink the wine. All right. I done done a lot of planning. You know, I want to be the first to drink the wine. I had an elder who used to say that to me all the time. You know, I used to always tell him, Baba, you know, you gotta, you know, because like whenever we would have drum class, I would always carry his drum and stuff. He's a big, strong elder, but I said, no, man, Baba, at least I could do. You know, I would always give him a lift home. And matter of fact, it's my Baba who I mentioned in the 14 Keys. If you read the introduction of the 14 Keys, you hear me talk about my uncle Abishai, or as we all call him, Baba Abishai bin Reuben. But I used to always tell him that, yeah, man, like, you know, it's okay for us to serve you, man. You should be served, you know. And he would always say, yeah, you know. One day he came, he was like, you know what, Haru, you right, man, you right. Me and your father was talking about that, man. You know, we done plant the vine, so we're gonna drink the wine. You know, my uncle's always talking in rhymes and stuff. You know, he's a Shango energy, so you know he's a drummer, but he's Shango, man, always rhyming and you know stuff like that. He think he's Dolomite, you know, conscious Dolomite. But yeah, in any event, you know, it's real. But like I said, man, just, you know, give some thought to that, man, in terms of having that head and having that covering and how important it is. Because just like if you don't have an Ori in your work or an Ori in your hand, then what it is, you're creating disorder by the very work that you do. You're creating confusion and disorder without the consciousness included, like a Shakti without a Shiva, with power without consciousness. Woman without man is disorder. Is blind ignorance. You see, a man without woman is dead intelligence. You see, so you just consider that, you know, and you'll understand why later. But that's something I want to leave you with. Okay, you know, this has been good, man. Good baby talk, man. This is my style of baby talk. I don't do the uchi coochie woo 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 stuff. I don't the goo goo gaga. I don't do all of that, man. You know, you ain't even got to rush me pictures of the baby. I'll see the baby when I see it. You know, I'm not one of them. Oh, he's so precious, isn't it? Because they all look the same in the beginning anyway. They all look like old people. So it takes a month or so before they start looking like anything. You know, now women, they love looking at the pictures, but man, I could wait. Yeah, I could wait on that. But either way, I'm still here to support. I'll still support you nonetheless. But I ain't doing all the cutesy cootsy stuff with you, man. I'm not looking at the little shoes. Look how small his little feet are in it. I don't care. They're gonna get big and stinky. You know, I know what's coming. I'm looking down the road, you know. I'm just joking. All right, yeah, man. So give thanks. Peace designs not defined. I didn't give you a shout out. I put you through the wash ringer yesterday. Strong mind, strong body fitness. The two Nicoles showed up. I think I gotta now say the three Nicoles. Because Nikki Love, I don't know your name's Nicole, so no, so the two Nicoles showed up. Peace Nicoles and Brother Shaka, of course. Who I do need to speak to. I'm gonna send you an email. By the way, Brother Shaka. And matter of fact, I might as well put it out. No, I'm not gonna say that. Sister Michelle, I am divine. Of course, Sister Marva always coming through real strong. And of course, Sister Jennifer was there, Brother Keith. And let's see, Mama's the doctor. And a band of hundreds. Yeah, man. I want that island. I ain't playing. You think I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Put my bid in now. I had an elder tell me he wanted a Porsche. Who I used to play in a Latin group with years ago. Tony. Tony was an amazing guitarist. Because my elders had me playing on stage much sooner than I should have been. I had me a nightclub, 12, 13 years old. That was a big house. I looked like that, like a man. But he loved the way I played. And he used to always say, because his English wasn't too tight. But he's like, you're gonna be very rich when you get older, man. You're very rich. He said, when you make your money, man, he showed me a picture. Well, actually, we were outside, and the guy went by in a Porsche. It was the 944, red 944. He was like, I want that. I want you to buy me that. I'm like, okay. It's a grown man told me. He was like, I'm serious. I was like, okay. But I never bought him a Porsche. He hasn't hounded me for it. He was like, I know you're gonna make all kind of money doing music. I went to car. So yeah, man, I'm taking a cue from Tony, man. Wild Cuban. Put my bid in now. But yeah, consistently, Fasay, of course. Fasay comes too strong. She's getting smart. Seeking wisdom. Yeah, I mentioned you. Yeah, I told you we still love you. Sister Gina came through with a strong answer, keeping God first. Peace. And that's why you retracted your message yesterday, keeping God first. I don't know what you put in there. I'm sure that's good. Little things. Sister Diana came through with a strong answer too. Brother Haru is always, he left earlier though. He has to go work at a certain time. I already said hi to Nicole, so I'm not doing it to Nicole. Y'all get one hi. All right. Sister Maria, and of course, Sister Keisha comes through real strong, and I say strong because it's like the middle of the night where she lives. Sequoia, as always, and you can't say Sequoia without saying Randy. How was the performance, Sequoia? I have to ask you. You didn't tell us, so I guess I'll ask. We'll find out later. I know you said that martial arts performance that you were speaking about. But yeah, man, peace to everyone who jumped in, Maria, of course, and again, a double and triple and extra congratulations, man, to all the new youth coming up. All right, oh, okay, I was breaking up all the time. Oh well, it is what it is. All right, so yeah, I'm heading out, man, and enjoy your day. Be back, of course, tomorrow, at 1:00, and digging more into some of these concepts that are related to Gobble Chief. Some of these concepts that are related to what we spoke about this Sunday, which is power. So, the theme for the month is power. And everything I'm speaking about is dealing with connecting with power. Man, I must have been breaking up for a while, huh? Yeah, it happens. Well, all y'all missed, I gave everybody a shout out. All right, so you missed a shout out. All right, and yes, Sister Sequoia, you got to let us know about the performance, how your son did tomorrow. All right, yeah, I didn't forget. You can't say martial arts performance and I forget. Come on now. But all right, tomorrow we're back at 1 p.m. and we'll still be dealing with all of the things surrounding and relating power. It's all related. So choosing your head and cultivating a head that has been chosen is directly related to the moving and the pushing of power, okay? Or the delegation, we should say, of power in Ashe. All right, until such time.